Hi Chris, can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Hi Raphael, my name is Chris, as he said, and I am the Member of Parliament for North East Hertfordshire.
What's it like being an independent candidate?
So I'm going to slightly correct your question by saying I'm not an independent candidate. I am temporarily suspended from the Labour Party. So technically I'm an independent Member of Parliament, but I haven't stood in any elections as an independent candidate. But it doesn't make a great deal of difference to my day-to-day job. I'm still there in the House of Commons, asking questions, taking part in debates and meeting ministers to raise the concerns of my constituents.
Can you tell us why you were suspended from your perspective?
So I think a good place to start there is to just remind everyone that I have voted with my party, the Labour Party, around about 97% of the time in the many votes I've taken part in since being elected just about 14 months ago. And in terms of why I was suspended, there were just a couple of issues where I felt that the government's legislation wasn't right, maybe it needed to be amended in one particular case. In another case, I wasn't happy with the legislation as it was being proposed. So I voted out of step with my party, and obviously it's down to them to choose how they respond to that. But for my part, obviously, I think it's important that you stand up for your principles and what you believe is right, and then, accept the responsibility of your actions.
Do you have any regrets over your rebellion against the Planning and Infrastructure Bill, or do you believe that you did the right thing?
I think I did the right thing, and I think a good piece of evidence to suggest that I did do the right thing is the day after I was suspended from the Parliamentary Labour Party, the government itself then tabled a series of amendments to the Planning and Infrastructure Bill which effectively achieved most of the objectives of the amendments that I rebelled on.
Do you feel as though being an independent MP now has lifted a bit of pressure off of your shoulders?
To go back to my first answer, I wouldn't really say that. I mean, my day job carries on much the same, and I've still got, best part of 100,000 constituents to represent, to hear about their concerns. I still get all the same emails, so no, the day job goes on.
Will your faith remain with Labour, or will you look elsewhere?
Absolutely, my faith remains with the Labour Party, which I've been a member of all my adult life. The Labour movement was founded, over a century ago by many ordinary people looking to create a society in which we put people before profit. That remains, in my mind, the driving force of the Labour movement, and I will stick by that as long as I'm in politics.
With the Old Town Labour Councillor defecting to Reform UK, do you think that that's the first warning as of what's to come?
Well, I don't think we're going to see any defections from Labour councillors in my area to Reform, but I do think that it's clear the government's got a real challenge on its hand from Reform. We need to make sure that we're making our case to the voters much more clearly and being able to fight off Reform toe to toe.
Do you believe that the first year of a Labour-controlled North East Herts has been a success, and if so, what's improved?
Yeah, I think you're referring to North Herts District Council, which has now run by a minority Labour council for the first time in a long time. All of our councils have got really big challenges on their hands because of the fact that the Tory government for 14 years slashed their budgets down to the bone. So they've all got a really tough job on their hands, but I do think the Labour Council are doing a really good job. They're doing great work around decarbonising our leisure centres, reducing the emissions from their vehicles as they go about doing the jobs that is required of them. And crucially, I think for the Baldock area, they're finally investing in a new museum storage facility. North Herts has got huge amounts of archaeology and fascinating history, both man-made history, but also natural history, which has not been properly looked after and has not been properly stored for a long time. So that's a major investment the Labour-led North Herts Council is making, and that will be a big step to protecting and preserving the heritage of the Baldock area and the wider area of North Herts into the future.
The Knights Templar School has failed in its bid for a £1.4 million grant to repair our ever-leaking roofs.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think we'll ever have completely dry classrooms?
I really hope so, and it seems like a really basic thing for our country to be able to achieve, doesn't it? And I think, if we'd thrown away maybe less money on some of the slightly bizarre schemes that were pushed by the previous government, then we could have been investing in basic bricks and mortar for our school so that students like you have somewhere dry to go to school to every day.